5 years ago to this day, the world watched as Americans stormed our nation's capital.
President Donald Trump was impeached shortly after. Thousands were charged for their part in this insurrection. Many of them, though, now have full pardons from the same president they swore to protect.
Investigative reporter Levi Ismail has followed these cases closely since the very beginning. And now the question by some, is this administration trying to rewrite history?
You know, the same places that we once relied on for information and evidence to support these charges are gone. But that doesn't mean we forgot the many Tennesseans who were there that day.
People run in. And then they come running back out. They're using these, they're using me.
Don't spray me, man!
And then people come running back in.
Some of what you've seen from January 6, 2021 came from the very Department of Justice webpage filled with evidence and the names of more than 1,500 defendants. That same webpage, 5 years later, doesn't exist. Some have accused President Trump's administration of attempting to rewrite a violent chapter in American history, but is it possible to ignore and forget what all of us have already seen and heard? The House Committee on the Judiciary just released 2 reports ahead of this 5-year anniversary, with one titled, "Where Are They Now?" They claimed many of the brave officers who defended our democracy that day were cast aside, fired, or demoted. Career prosecutors who investigated attacks against law enforcement and brought charges against those responsible were fired within days of Trump taking office. Meanwhile, insurrectionists, co-conspirators, election deniers, and cop beaters, they weren't just pardoned. Some are currently serving at the highest ranks of the Department of Justice and the Trump administration. You can find their names not just in this report, but thanks to NPR, the name of every defendant is also in this database, including 35 Tennesseans like Michael Timbrook of Cookeville.
You know, I mean, people ask me, January 6th, like, yeah, and then, in my side I'm saying that was the best day ever. It was a great day.
There are some folks who use the word traitor to describe some of the folks who were there that day. What do you think of that?
And it was beautiful up to a point, and then it broke down. And, I'm not going to try to defend that breakdown, but it happened.
Timbrook pleaded guilty for unlawfully entering the Capitol and, like many in their plea deals, was forced to take responsibility for their actions. Defendants like Brian Ivey, who also pleaded guilty for unlawfully entering the Capitol, went as far as telling the courts that he felt brainwashed into thinking the 2020 election was stolen. Still, 13 Tennesseans were charged with assaulting officers. Albuquerque Head, Joseph Padilla, Ronald Maccabee were all seen on camera forcing their way through police barricades, some swinging their fists at officers and even writing in advance about the violence they planned to incite at the Capitol. But they were all part of the same blanket pardon issued by President Trump. They were called patriots and political prisoners for defending unproven claims that President Biden stole the 2020 election. But just months earlier, the courts called these same people some of the worst of the worst. Ultimately, at least 35 Tennessee defendants, some of whom you've heard of, others maybe not so much, were either pardoned or, in the case of Lisa Eisenhart and her son Eric Munchel, they had their cases dismissed in court with prejudice, meaning the same charges can't be refiled.
1,500 pardons, including me and my son, Lisa Eisenhart, Eric Munchel. Pardoned. Cut my monitor off.
Some have gone on to live quiet lives since all this began, while others embraced the notoriety and even ran for Congress here in Tennessee.
He said it was going to be wild. He didn't lie.
No matter where they are now, we know where they were. And it's one chapter of history we won't soon forget.
I'm going to try and get up there.
Now, I spoke with Michael Timbrook again today, and he told me he's staying off of social media to focus more time on his family. He said over the years, he's realized that he and others may have been manipulated into thinking that they were doing the right thing, but today he doesn't know who or what to believe. With News Channel 5 Investigates, I'm Levi Ismail.